Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. This is the Faithful 40 Challenge kickoff. We have a week of registration ahead of us right here. So we're actually going to start the Faithful 40 Challenge tomorrow, but there will be new people kind of pouring into the workshops and the posts and whatnot over the week. So I expect to see things get a little more intense as everybody comes off the Thanksgiving holiday. So thank you for being here, and thanks for bearing with us as we work out our kinks communications wise and whatnot. So tonight I just wanted to get together and lay the foundation for what a good Faithful 40 challenge looks like, what to expect from the workshops that are coming up over the next few weeks, and also to talk about our end date on January 10th, and also give a form for your questions. I'm new to doing the Faithful 40 outside of Facebook. I've done Faithful 40s in our Facebook groups, and it's a different thing operationally speaking. So I want to make sure that on the Better Daily platform and with the communication that we're using, that everything's really clear and that everybody's getting a lot out of the experience. So again, I appreciate you bearing with me through working out those kinks. Now, so tonight I wanted to start with what the heck is the Faithful 40? I think Tim is the only person in this group who's done a faithful. No, no, no. Pat, you did Faithful 40 last time with us. I remember specifically because you figured out how to collage your meal journal like
Claim to
perfect.
fame. Not that I lost a lot of weight or I got in really good shape, but
I
boy,
mean,
I got this software thing down.
you look way better. I'm just kidding. So you had like your macros, and then you had your journal. It was perfect. And what was funny is you started doing that, and then I want to say at least 10 other people jumped on that bandwagon. They're like, "What app are you using?" And they're like pick collaging their thing. And so I'm way lazier than that. I'm like, here's 3 screenshots. If anybody wants to read them, this is here's my food.
But I'm more retired than you are.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And your children are a little older, although I hear that brings its own challenges, which we won't get into this evening. Maybe in the end, if we have some time for Q&A, I can ask you some wisdom. So anyway, so Faithful 40, we're starting tomorrow. The very first post will go out tomorrow. You should get both an email from me and a notification. If you pop into the Better Daily group, you'll see if I've done everything right. You should see your little bell with a number 1 in front of it, and that says, hey, there's a post in the Better Daily group. And that post will be very simple. It'll say day 1, mindset today, nutrition yesterday, exercise plan, and you can respond to that thread. So what does that look like? The structure of the Faithful 40 is very simple. You are reporting to a virtual accountability group who will also support and encourage you. However, what's powerful about that is not only the externality of the group, but your individual process to actually post that stuff faithfully. And we do it for 40 days, and well, that's the brilliant name. But being faithful to post these things for 40 days does a few things for you. First, you notice that your mindset will change day to day. You wake up in the morning and maybe you set your intention. Maybe things get off to a crazy foot and you don't even get to post till like 1 p.m. Like that happens. Hashtag dad life. But your mindset changes from day to day, and it gives you an opportunity to check in with yourself, and also to say, what do I want other people to know about where I'm at today? And that's an interesting process because sometimes being honest is difficult. Like, I'm honestly struggling today, and you can put on a face and be brave and say that if that's what you're going to say. Or some, I've had people, their mindsets were a big middle finger emoji, and that was their mindset for today. And I mean, hey, I think we've all been there. It's like, screw that day. So being honest with yourself and with the group is important, but also sometimes there's a little self pep talk that gets in there. I know when I go to post my mindsets, sometimes I'm like, hey man, quit your stinking thinking, and say something that's both inspiring to you and to other people. Like, this is the way we want to do things. So however you need to be in that, I would say that what's really interesting about this journey for me is when I set out to do this, when COVID started in March, to make it meaningful to the community, I thought that people just journaling their food, that would be the most powerful thing about this, is being conscious about your food and understanding what goes into it. And then with a little bit of education, making some changes that, most people have to pay a dietitian a very large amount of money to make over a period of time. You can do that at a relatively low cost, and in the comfort of your own phone, you figure out some things with your nutrition. But when I asked people what was the most valuable part of the Faithful 40 to you, some people said being conscious of your food and making some changes was important, but almost everybody said the mindset piece was the most powerful for me. And it was very powerful to see what other people's mindsets were in a day. And it was interesting that if you had a day where you were struggling, there were other people who were particularly inspired, and vice versa. Which was really cool to see over a period of 40 days. We've done this twice in the Inner Circle Facebook group, by the way. So I've had some time to garner some feedback, and we've had just around 90 people go through this process. So you're posting about your mindset could be as simple as a word that's on your mind. Some people post Bible verses. I post excerpts from the Tao Te Ching, or poetry sometimes, a particular song lyrics that seem to just jive with me today. And other people have mantras that they've either constructed or heard somewhere, and wanted to share. So that's probably the most subjective part of the Faithful 40 is your mindset post daily. And then within that post, you're also posting about your nutrition yesterday. And so some people appreciate journaling their food in a Fitness Pal app, or Lose It, or Carb Counter, or something like that. Or other people like to screenshot a written journal, like they just write down their food, and they take a picture of that and send it in. And some people just kind of give a one sentence report, like, hey, ate lots of veggies today, that was good. Or two large pizzas, don't want to talk about it, or something like that. And like, fine, whatever. But the point is, what was yesterday's nutrition like? And you're posting that to the group with as much authenticity and time and specificity as you care to include there. And last but not least is the exercise portion. And this is when you make your post, it's what's your exercise plan today. So maybe you've already done it, maybe you plan to do it, maybe you were really hoping to do some exercise today, but it just didn't happen, and you didn't get to talk about it till 9, and you're like, oh, maybe yoga tomorrow, who knows. But that's the third portion of the Faithful 40 post. So I said a lot of things, but the post itself should only take you 2 to 3 minutes a day. And the nice part of doing this in the Better Daily group is there's not a bunch of Facebook advertisements and other distracting things going on in there. It's us, and it's our post, and nobody's going to censor you. And if anybody has anything really awful to say to each other, I'm just going to delete it. So don't. But but I think all of us are of a similar ethos around here, so we've not had that as a problem. So any questions, comments, or concerns around what the Faithful 40 actually is, and how the post operation works on a daily basis? Are we all good there? I can't see Tim's head nodding, but okay, cool.
What is it that you want to see mostly in diet?
What's that?
What do you want to see mostly in diet? The macros or?
That's a really good question. For my personal clients, of which you are one, Pat, we know what we're working on specifically, meaning we know that we're trying to get a little more veggies in our day, and we're trying to steer away from as many processed carbohydrate treat sources as possible, right? So for you, that since we're tracking that itemized list of actual foods is probably the
Right.
most important to you, because I know you've done a good job with macros. For other people, they might want to focus more on their total sugar count for the day, or maybe they want to focus more on getting more protein in their day, or maybe their daily habit right now is just making sure they get their multi and fish oil every day, or something along those lines, right? So uh, I would say that it's subjectively important on what your focus needs to be. If you're new to food journaling, it's just the act of journaling anything. I don't care what you write down, or what format or what app you use, just do it, Um,
Yeah.
and I find, as I'll talk about in a second, our very first shop in the Faithful 40 is better nutrition. I find that we get to dive into more specifics with everybody during that workshop, because we'll be talking about macros, we'll be talking about supplements, we'll be talking about vegetables and probiotics and all that fun stuff. So usually people find a focus that matters to them. Good question. Katie, you had one? I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Is this the speakerphone thing you
Can you
told me
hear me?
about? I can hear you. Yay.
Okay, I just can't hear you right now. But my question is this: so, since it's so individualized, you could focus. A person could focus on just one portion of this Faithful 40, like the mindset or the journaling or the exercise plan. You put it, you get out of it. Seems like you get out of it what you put into it. But if you are at a place where the mindset is the most important, that would be a good place to focus. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, yeah, I think that's very, very well said. And I think that's really good advice actually in the form of a question for everybody is that, you know, it's weird how the human mind works. I work with people and they'll say, "Okay, I have this goal and I want to achieve this thing." And I'll say, "Okay, let's say we could do 17 things that would get you there. Are you ready to get started today?" And they're like, "Yeah, let's do it." And so 2 days later, um, I'm like, "All right, so let's talk about how these 17 things are going." And we've done like 2 of them because it's so hard to focus on all of the things, right? And so when it comes to the Faithful 40, I present this challenge and I had a guy who's like, "Have you ever heard of the 75 hard? Like, it's really intense." And he goes through this list of things that they do in the 75 hard challenge. And I was like, I mean, that's cool, but there's a reason that people drop out 10 days in, because they're like,
Hard.
Yes.
it's too many things, right? And so with regard to a challenge like this, let's say that nutritionally speaking, look, we're not trying to make any changes right now. It's just being aware, tracking your food. Hey, I'm pretty happy with where I was at today. That's great. But maybe you really need to focus on getting your walks in or getting your cardio in from an exercise perspective. And so you can really drill down on trying to do a good job there. And so I think that's really good advice, Katie, is that we're posting about this stuff daily. And even I in my personal program find that given what's going on in life, there's times where I really need to hone in on my nutrition, or there's times I really need to hone in on my mindset, in order to make myself better. So I think that's well said, Katie, and I think that's good advice in the form of a question. um, Anybody else, any other questions operationally how this works? Cool. So I've included a daily email, and I don't intend to be annoying. Like, if it's over communication, let me know. But since we've done this in Facebook in the past, people generally open Facebook every day. Whether or not you're going to be there for long is another question. This group is new, so people don't generally open this every day. So, maybe you don't know where it is on your phone, maybe you don't know the URL, maybe it's not on a shortcut that you're readily available. So I'll be sending an email every day to everybody who's registered to remind them that the post is there. And that way, you'll get a annoying thing from me via email. And like, if you want to unsubscribe, just email me back. Alex, stop sending me these dang emails. That's fine. But the goal of that is not to be annoyingly over communicative, but just to make it simple to click a link and go to your post. So we may or may not nix that in the future, but that's why that's there. Katie says no. Please keep emailing me. Okay, you got it. if nothing else, I will make sure and email Katie every day.
Is the goal ultimately, Alex, to create your own app for this?
We'll see. We'll see how that developing platform goes. For my part, that's something we can do through Disciple Media. That's something we can definitely do. But at the moment, my goal is to see how this space operates. Not just
Yeah.
not just this particular platform, but away from social media altogether. How that platform really operates, and what the pain points are for people and what the pain points are from a business perspective. And so
Yeah.
great question. I don't want to change too much too fast on people. And so this is it's not quite a toe in the water. I think we've gotten in the water, but we haven't dove in head first.
Yeah.
If that's fair. So our first workshop, we'll have 3 workshops through the Faithful 40, and you'll find these in events. You'll see them announced in the emails and whatnot. So probably every 10 days is my guess. I like these Sunday evenings. If you have other requests, let me know. But I enjoy the Sunday evening part because it kind of sets the tone for the week. That's the way I look at it or feel about it. It's also a great time when we've had the opportunity to get ready for it over the weekend in my house. So the first workshop will be better nutrition. And I know that that's a very large subject, so I intend to hit the things that we care about. But after we've journaled our food for the first week there, I'll see what pain points people have from a nutrition perspective. Please bring your questions. I know journaling your food for a couple weeks might generate some questions for you. How much protein should I eat? Is this supplement good or bad? Is there a better time to eat before or after my workouts? That sort of thing. We can definitely dive into the weeds there, and that's the goal of that workshop, is to make it very personable. So I'll probably talk for 15 to 20 minutes on a subject, maybe 30 because I'm really long-winded, but then I'll make sure there's time, ample time for questions, both during and thereafter. And then the next workshop will be better exercise. You guys see the pattern going here? Can anybody guess what the third workshop is? Better mindsets. Okay, so just in case you're curious, but so better exercise, we'll be talking about program design and volume, time under tension, load, all of the things that we trainers kind of take for granted, that when we go to the gym and we say we're going to do this, that just happens for us because we've been educated to do so. There's always exercise questions out there that you don't know you have until you're exercising. In fact, many of my clients don't know they have them until they're in the middle of their workout and they're like, note to Alex, like, what the hell? Like, why am I doing this? Or what's this doing for me? Or how does that work? Why am I not doing what that guy's doing? So anyway, I'm looking forward to that workshop, particularly because I'm an exercise nerd and I might be a little more long-winded than nutrition there. I'm like, just eat more veggies. Come on. It's not that, I'm just kidding. That's not all there is. But all right. So better mindset. This one I'm very much looking forward to, because one of the most powerful parts of your betterment journey is anchoring yourself in a mindset that's going to move you forward every day. And this also is the most complicated thing, because it's a little bit different for everybody. What's nice about exercise is just about everybody responds the same way to exercise. There's some caveats in there. Some people are more endurable, some people are more powerful. We're not going to get into that at the moment. From a nutrition perspective, there's some solid science to how the body responds to nutrition. Now, everybody has their idiosyncrasies, and that's also a bio individual thing. But mindset is a very difficult thing to scientifically nail down. And so there are some things we do know from a scientific perspective, but I'm looking forward to drawing from the wisdom of the group to see what people do and how people manage a positive and betterment mindset amidst the things that they wrestle with in a day. So I'm very much looking forward to this particular workshop, in the sense that I believe it'll garner a lot of perspective, and it'll be a little less of me teaching and a lot more of the wisdom of the group coming out. So very much looking forward to that. And last but not least, we'll have our finale on January 10th, which will be the end of the Faithful 40. I always announce 4 winners at the end of the Faithful 40. So right now it's Tim, Katie, Pat, and Lisa. You guys all win. Great work. Participation trophies for the top
Yay.
4.
We're all winners.
But the winners traditionally have been the most faithful. So this is the person who has faithfully posted every day for 40 days, or at least as close to that as they can get. The most improved. So this is the person who, I mean, quite frankly, was a mess at the beginning of Faithful 40 and tightened it up, or at least did a little bit better, maybe 1% better, maybe even more by the end, which is great. Then we will have our most inviting, the person who has brought the most people into the fold of the Faithful 40, invited people along with them. And that doesn't necessarily mean they made Alex's group popular and got me paid. I'm talking about like I had one guy, the last guy who won the most inviting, he actually got his family on a group chat. They weren't even in the group. They were in a group chat. And so he was doing the Faithful 40, but he also had his mom, his dad, his brother, his niece recording their mindsets, their food, and their exercise, and reporting it daily to each other. So he won that, because in my mind, that's the spirit of the Faithful 40, is to better yourself in a way that inspires your community to do the same. And then last but not least is the most encouraging. So one of the pieces of the Faithful 40 that's powerful is that you get the opportunity not just to have accountability from the group, but you also have the opportunity to encourage other people in the group. So this is where a lot of relationships have formed in the virtual space that you might never have brushed shoulders with people, and that's something really powerful that a lot of people got out of the last two Faithful 40s that we did, that just connections with other people that they knew were committed to betterment. You see people, you know, losing weight and fasting and eating more veggies and trying sardines even though they hate them. I know. you see this happening, and so you get to connect with people and you get to say, hey man, nice job. Like it's so cool to see you running now when you could barely walk when we first started, or it's so cool to see you getting more confident with your strength gains, or man, I wish I could ruck 26 miles even though I'm not going to. That's cool. So anyway, one of the guys in the last Faithful 40 rucked 26 miles. That's intense. So anyway, those things said, I'm really excited about the finale as well. It's a nice way to tie things up, and you'll notice this is just after the new year, so this will give us an opportunity to kind of take a break from doing so much posting, kind of reorient ourselves, and then I plan to do this Faithful 40 every quarter, 40 days out of 100 and no, try again, Alex. 140 days out of 90. There we go. Ish. All the business people said, all right, Alex, like, come on,
Go
quarters.
dandy.
I was an engineer. We did calculus. We did not do simple math. So I can tell you the triple integral of something, but adding is very difficult. So anyway, I'm excited about this finale to tie up our Faithful 40 right after the new year, get an opportunity to get a breather, and then we'll dive into another one probably mid-February. So anyway, any questions, anything that I didn't say that I should have said, anything out there that needs to be addressed? Is anybody stoked about this? I'm super stoked.
Yeah.
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 I was recording my food journal today. I was like, oh, it's been a little while. I was like, where's chicken broth? We had chicken broth.
I just know that I know my Fitness Pal is a lot easier than using Fitbit for the food adding.
Oh,
yeah, like I think it's nice they kind of crowdsource some of the imports, which sometimes they're not accurate. Like I was like burger and
Yeah,
62 grams of protein. I was like, what the hell kind of burger is this person eating? Like that's
Now,
like
did you see how you can share though, that Lisa can share her stuff, so it makes it
Yes.
easier for us as a couple to do
it's
it?
really a nice feature.
Yeah, that is a nice feature, and it also has a grouping thing where you can be like, because I eat about the same breakfast every day.
Right.
I don't deviate, and so it's like I have these things, and I'm like, that's breakfast. So tomorrow I can just say breakfast, and it's like, here's your stuff. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. Anything else out there?
Nope. I'm excited to get going with you.
Great. Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you coming. I look forward to seeing how these posts go. And again, this kind of in this group of people, I don't mind saying this, I'm new to this communication channel process with the application and the Faithful 40 and whatnot. So if things are unclear to you, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you tell me that. You're going to help somebody else, because if it's unclear to you, it's probably unclear to somebody else. And so I see what I see on my end. I don't see what you see on your end sometimes. So if you're like, hey, it'd be really nice if, or whatever, you know, I might be like, yeah, that's cute, but we can't do that. But if you have thoughts or ideas or pain points, please let me know, because I look at this as something that I can make a lot more smooth as we move into 2021. So thank you for being my first Faithful 40 in the Better Daily group, and bearing with kinks and giving your feedback.
Good deal.
Cool.
Yep. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful start to your week, and I look forward to working with you through this.
Okay. See you, Katie.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.